Aquarius, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carole, and this is going to be a general reading for you for August 2026. Aquarius, I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a really good reading for you. I can feel it already. So what we're doing this month is mirror work, and I've done mirror work a couple of times on the channel. And because it is a reading that I offer to you in an extended version, as a personal reading, if you're interested, I've decided to offer it as a discount, a significant discount for you because I'm doing the reading right now, and I think going forward I'll be doing that. So if the reading is one that I'm doing that's a personal reading offer, I will discount it. So for the month of August, the link is in the description box below and also in my comment section. You can take a look at if mirror work is something that you would like done. And actually in the extended version, I pull a lot more cards. And it's actually my preferred, out of all my readings, it's the one that people choose because it's just, it is the most interesting one. And so mirror work is something that we can use to understand what's going on with our internal system. Your belief systems that are living in the unconscious. Something in your in the universe is trying to reflect something to you so that you can connect to it, and it connects to your own unconscious so that you can heal yourself. And I told this example in my last reading. Last week, I knew I was working on a memory, but I was trying to get some pieces, and I get them from the universe all the time, but they're not always, I don't always clue in at first, but I found myself, I have a teapot with a thistle on it, and I purchased it in Scotland like 20 some years ago. And I took a picture of it last week, and I said, I want to Google it. I want to look, see how much it's worth for the hell of it. It was a China teapot. And so that was the first thing I did. And then I had a couple thistles growing out in my garden at the front, and I thought, I got to pull them. And I felt bad pulling them. So I pulled one, but I didn't pull the other. So I had been, watching it grow and thinking, oh, why can't I pull that thing out? And so there was the other thistle. And then I went for a walk, a couple days ago, and I saw these beautiful thistles in bloom. And so I took some pictures of it. And again, thistles. And it was just, I knew that it was about thistles, but it took me a while to figure it out. And it wasn't about, I got to go look up the word thistle and see what it means. It had something to do with something, and I finally connected it to a time when I was in France years ago when I met this girl, and she was from Scotland, and there was a memory around her and something that I needed to get to because I bought the teapot because she said it was the flower of Scotland, and I didn't know that. So of course I wanted a souvenir from Scotland, so I bought it. But it was funny, that's how my world works, is you start paying attention to, you bring awareness to your outer world and what's happening in your world, and what are people saying to you, how are people responding to you. In this case it was like the plant, right? Pets, what's going on in your own system, how are your pets responding to you. Maybe you have children, or older children, what's going on with them. And so you use people around you, you use people you work with, things that people say that are odd or random, and it's like, why did you say that? And that's a clue to something, right? So really, this healing work is about becoming a detective. It really is. And so we're going to be a detective today. I'm going to be the detective trying to figure it out. So we're going to go to your outer world first. I'm going to use the Erenberg tarot, and I'm going to ask for 3 cards, and that's going to be your conscious world. And it's going to be the mirror to what is going on with your unconscious, and I'm going to pull 3 cards for that using the Curious Travels deck. So let's start off with your outer world, and then when I'm done that, I'm going to pull a message from the universe, and then how to heal this. how to start healing this, because there's something coming up for healing. All right, so let's start with one card for Aquarius. First card for Aquarius for their conscious world, their outer world. This is the mirror. You have the Death card in reverse. Oh, put that over here. Another card. And you have the 10 of Cups. And one more card. The 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups has come up about 3 times during these last few readings I've been doing. Your inner world. Okay, so here's your mirror, and then we want to know now what's this telling us about our inner world. Start off with one card. 2 of Pentacles in reverse. And another one. Six of Wands in a sideways position. And you have the Judgment card. I don't know, it's kind of like this. I guess it's in reverse, Judgment. It's kind of, I'll put it like that. Not sure what it was. Not sure what it was. Okay, let's pick a final message for you. Message from the universe. Here it is, the 4 of Cups. That's the message. And how are you going to begin to heal this? 5 of Swords. Okay, so let's start off with Aquarius, your outer world. What's going on in your outer world right now? You have the Death card in reverse. In an upright position, the Death card talks about there are people, things in your life that you need to let go of. And I think you've been hanging on to this for a while, or knowing this, that you need to let go of someone, some people, something. Sometimes it could be, you know, I don't know, maybe addiction or some kind of a pattern that you need to let go of. But a lot of times it means relationships, people. So, but you're having a hard time. You're having a real hard time, real resistance to doing it. You don't want to do it, and I think that's why it's kind of been hanging. It could be something that comes up and you know you got to do it, and then you just ignore it. You just know you got to do it, you got to ignore it. And there's definitely a lot of emotions around it. It's an incredibly emotional time for you right now, Aquarius, because you have the 10 of Cups sitting here. Very emotional time for you, because you know that this has to happen. And I can tell that you're fighting it. There's a lot of resistance to this happening. We have the 8 of Cups, you know, and I think you've been doing some real internal work on yourself. The 8 of Cups talks about someone that goes away to do that, you know, inner work, that inner journey. And so I want to know, I think, you know, what is it about why you're having such a difficult time letting go? It's wanting you to let go, but you're having a real hard time with it still. You know, I think you're doing all the right things, but it's still so incredibly difficult. And so I'm going to go and look over here and find out, okay, what's this bringing up for you? What is this bringing up for you? And the first thing it brings up is this individual, the 2 of Pentacles right here. This is the Juggler. He's in reverse. Remember, this is the unconscious, right? This is the part that you don't know about. You've forgotten. You buried it when you were younger. Well, this is I call this individual, he's a real multitasker, and he's really ungrounded. very, very ungrounded. And I'm going to say here that because this is from your childhood, your adolescence, I think that you as a child had a very difficult time making any decisions because you weren't balanced, you weren't grounded, you were very ungrounded, and I can see that right here. And so for you to make a decision to finally say, okay, I need to do this, you'd say, okay, I'm going to do it, but then, something else you were just very unbalanced, very ungrounded when you were younger. And that kind of speaks to me sometimes as a lot of chaos going on, a lot of things going on when you were younger where you weren't able to make decisions, or even, it was impossible. Too much was going on when you were younger. And you have the 6 of Wands in a sideways position. In an upright position, this 6 has a duality to it. All my 6s do. On the outside, if you look at this card, it looks like, here's the victory wreath around this horse, and they're coming back from a battle, and there's, these hands up like cheering them, and there's a lot of cheering going around and a lot of support here. And these are the words I'm hearing: cheering and support, and let's go, you can do this. But it's kind of sideways. It's like, I think it was confusion for you when you were younger, and I don't think the support was there for you. So you had all these emotions, big emotions, and you didn't know how to juggle them, right? I'm taking the juggler here. You didn't know. You had too many, and when we're younger and we have all these big emotions, and we're too young for that to be able to deal with all of this. And so, and I think that's what's happening here is you have all these conflicting emotions about letting go of this person, but you just don't know what to do with them because it's not something you learned as a child to how to, I don't want to use the word regulate, to even use your emotions. You weren't allowed to, because you have the Judgment card here, and it kind of came in, it wasn't sure how it wanted to come in. It was sideways, and Judgment talks about, look at that third eye there, and it's got the Moon card in there. It's like the Moon in there is like, that's your intuition, that's your wisdom, your knowing. And so, this is your wisdom when you were younger, your knowing. Judgment card was unbalanced as well, right? That's how that card came out. I couldn't describe it, so I just kind of put it on there. And so it's very like a teeter-totter. I think of that game, that thing on his nose where you had to lift him off and put him on. I know I'm dating myself. I forget what it was called. Tipsy or tip, something like that. I don't know, Tippy or something. That was you when you were younger. Just like, it's like walking on stones and bare feet, and you just didn't know. And so now when you are being asked to let go, you have all these emotions coming up and you have no reference point for it. Like, what do I do with this? And so what's the main message here? We have the 4 of Cups here. Right? The 4 of Cups speaks about, you see, look carefully at this card. You see how I love this deck because it's called the Erenberg Tarot, and it takes a snapshot of the Rider-Waite deck, picks what's really important. And what's really important on this 4 of Cups to me is, it's like 3 of Cups are 3 cups, and they're all about your emotions. And we're talking about emotions here, letting someone go, and all these conflicting emotions you have. But the 4 of Cups speaks about this individual that has decided, I don't want to feel anymore. And they've crossed their arms, right? And there's still one more cup there. Like there's a cup on offer. Do you see how there's a cup on offer right there? And it's like, no, I'm not budging. And so I think what this is saying here, the final message is there's more feeling to do. And in particular, I'm going to change that because there's one emotion that you need to get to, and it's the healing emotion, and it's the grieving. There's more grief You need to grieve as much as you can over letting this person go. And once you've grieved enough, and if you think that's enough and you can't do it anymore, there's more. There's always more grief. Because if you're still struggling about letting this person go, it's because you haven't grieved enough yet. And you just keep on doing that. It's like, okay, I'm still struggling with this. I can't do it. Then you grieve their loss. You grieve what could have been, especially when it's in a relationship, any type of relationship. It's like, I need to grieve what could have been, and it wasn't. And that's what you need to grieve. You know, for me, I sometimes I grieve the fact that I can't change anything. Maybe you can't change anything. So you have to grieve that. But there's more grieving, more emotions. It's right. You know, it's not about, I've grieved as much as I can. It's like, if you're still struggling, it's because you haven't grieved enough. Just keep grieving. And then finally, it's like, how do you heal this? How do you heal it? What's the advice from the tarot, from the universe? We have the Five of Swords here. And this is interesting because the Five of Swords, it's a card about, this individual right here who's been beaten, right? Beaten up. And I often see this card as a bullying card sometimes. But behind the bullying is how this person feels now. And that's the shame. And so this is a card of shame. There's a lot of shame here. And shame talks about our unworthiness. Because when we were younger, we weren't shown, we weren't given the support of what to do with all these emotions, these big emotions we had. Maybe we weren't allowed to use our emotions, and other times we tried, but it just seems like it was a real chaotic environment here. And so, you know, there's a lot of shame that you're feeling because you didn't matter when you were younger, right? Nobody showed you, nobody cared for you, nobody supported you. And that's why you're sitting here with some shame in particular. So I'm going to leave you with the playlist on shame, because I think there's some unworthiness that's coming up here for you that maybe you need to look at, you know. Sometimes we have to look at our own unworthiness, you know, of us not mattering. And there's some real grieving that needs to be done around our shame. And that's how we get rid of our shame, is to grieve it. And so there's some more clearing out here before you're going to be able to let something go. All right, Aquarius? So I'm going to leave you with the shame playlist, and I want you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. I know this is a very difficult journey, but it's the most important journey of your life. So take care, and I'll talk soon. Bye.